Hello everyone, I am back today with Jordan and we are at Whiskey Rapids in downtown Rapids. Today's class is going to focus more on balance. So we'll do some balance in a tabletop position, we'll try staggered with 2 legs, and eventually we'll come up onto 1 foot or 1 leg. So to go ahead, get yourself started wherever you feel the most comfortable. If you want to lay down, you can stay seated. But just pick a spot where that you can shut down your eyes, soften your shoulders. Take a second to notice the noises around you. Notice what sort of thoughts or lists are trying to sneak in and distract you. Direct your focus to your breath. Take in a deep breath. Slowly let it out. And just watch and feel where it sits in your body, how it feels. How long is your breath in and out? Can you manipulate and control your breath so that you have a balanced length of time breathing in, matching your exhale out? Control just a few more breaths, evening out both the inhale and exhale to equal each other. And then let your breath just go back to its natural rhythm. Set an intention for yourself today, something to stay focused on or a mood that you want to cultivate for yourself. Together through your nose, take in a deep breath. Open your mouth and let it out. Give yourself a moment just to twist, stretch, do whatever your body needs. We're going to move right into a tabletop position onto our hands and knees. Once you get there, move your hips around side to side a little bit. Twist at your wrists and your shoulders. You can also play with tucking your toes back, stretching out the bottoms of your feet. Now start to set up at a firm and steady spot in your tabletop. Push your hands into the ground. Draw in with your belly like you're trying to touch your belly button to your spine. Try to keep your hips from turning or rolling out and lift your right leg back in the air behind you. Take just a couple of breaths here, seeing if you can come lighter on your left hand and eventually take it out in front of you. Extend out further through your hand and your foot. And now bring your elbow and knee together at your belly button. Again, reach out as far as you can. Crunch in. One more time. Go back to that extension with your arm and leg out long. Hold here just for a few more breaths. Tap into your balance, your strength. Control and lower everything back down to the mat. Switch right over to the other side. Extend out your arm and leg. Hold here for a few seconds to start. Lock in with your core. Expand longer through your hand and foot. And now bring your knee and elbow together. 2 more times. Expand back out, hold there again. Can you lift your foot up a little higher, your hand out a little further? And extend down. Move back to child's pose for a second just to give your wrists a little break. You can move your hips side to side. Find a spot for your forehead to rest. Come back into tabletop. Let's try balancing again. Take your right leg back. This time, see if you can take your right arm out as well. Notice what's happening at your hips. Are you still squared to the ground? Or then can you start to move into a side plank? Rolling your hips open, reach up with your hand. Take your time. We're going to go right back into that balancing tabletop. And then set everything down to the ground. Let's try the other side. Adjust into your right hand to support yourself. Extend back with your left leg, eventually your arm. Take your time, roll open to that side plank. Same amount of control, take it back into that balancing tabletop. And all the way down. Downward dog. Go ahead, lift your hips, push into your hands and your toes. Give yourself a second to move around with your hips and your knees. Just kind of feel how everything is up at this plane, up at this level. Plug into your hands and lift your right foot up towards the ceiling. Control your knee into your elbow. Hold it there for a second. And then we're going to go into Warrior One. So you can step behind your hand, drop down your back heel, and reach your hands up. We're going to play with some balance here. So even though we've got both feet on the ground, we're going to shift into a crescent lunge, which is going to play with the balance. So turn onto your back toes. Push strong into your front foot. And this is it. We're just moving back and forth. Drop down to your Warrior One. And back into that crescent. One more time. Stay in crescent. Let's add in a twist here. Take your right hand back behind you. Look at where you're reaching. Crescent, untwist, reach up. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Plug into them so you can take it back to three-legged down dog. And go ahead, set your foot down. Other side, take your left leg up. Bring your knee to your elbow. Step to Warrior One. Drop your back heel, lift your heart and your hands. Stay strong and locked in through that front foot. Crescent lunge, turn onto your back toes. Warrior One. 2 more times. What we're doing is just playing with that balance, but also warming up the muscles in your ankle and foot. Settle into a crescent with your heel up. And then we're going to add in the twist. Take your left hand back. Crescent, untwist, reach up. Downward dog, hands to the mat. Lift your left leg up. And set it down. Walk your feet forward to a fold. Play here by pushing up to your toes, back on your heels, or even over to like the edges of your feet. Take a few seconds here just to stretch out your ankles and toes a little bit more. And then plug down into your feet. Push evenly between the right and the left, your toes and your heels, and stand a mountain. Reach high with your hands overhead. Take a back bend. You can keep your arms long or bent. See how it feels in your shoulders. Come back to mountain, pull yourself up straight. Fold forward. Halfway lift, press your heart out. Fold. Mountain, rise tall. Back bend. Mountain, fold. Halfway lift, fold. Mountain, back bend, mountain, hands to your heart. Stand here, shut down your eyes. And again, just like we were in that fold, with your eyes shut, I want you to play with coming to your toes, leaning back into your heels, rock from foot to foot. Just see how sturdy you feel up here. You could also play with your eyes shut or open, just trying to lift one foot off the ground an inch or two, and then transferring over to the other foot. If you're feeling really unsteady of yourself, you could keep your hands like on a chair in front of you or on a wall. Having them up at your heart is just a way to keep yourself focused, centered, drawn in. All right, relax your hands down. You can open up your eyes. Let's take a second to stretch out our feet a little bit more. So one foot, bring it forward, make some circles onto the tips of your toes. And then we're going to change direction. And then playing with your balance a little bit, see if you can take that foot behind you and push into the top of your toes. You can move around a little bit and see how that changes the stretch along your ankle into your leg. And then we're going to bring that foot over and in front like you're standing on a tightrope. Play here, lift up to your toes, and then rock back and try to peel your front toes off the mat. Forward and back a couple of times. And then go ahead, set that foot down. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. Start with some circles into your toes. I feel like if I lead with my knee, it makes it a little easier to focus. Try going the other direction. And now take that foot behind, push into the tops of your toes, the top of your foot. And bring it forward. Standing on that tightrope. Come up and down a couple of times. Once more back, and then you can set your feet next to each other. Go ahead and start with your right foot planted on the ground, and we're going to come to staff pose, bringing your left knee to your chest. If you're not sure what to do with your hands, you can keep them there at your side, up at your heart again. But I want you to see, can you keep your knee up at your chest or up at your hips? And then how far out can you extend your heel? Let your knee bend. Now we're going to go to a tree pose. Step your foot somewhere inside of your standing leg. You can even have it down low if you need your toes for that little extra stability. All right, back to staff pose. Bring your knee up to the center. We're going to try one more dancer. So you're going to grab for your ankle. And then you can either try to reach down to the ground out in front of you, but I want you to see how far can you kick your foot away from your body. Take about 3 more breaths. Push strong into your standing leg. We're going to come back to staff pose one more time. Lift your knee up to your hip height. Extend your heel out. And set your foot down. We'll do that same sequence with the other leg. Start with staff, bring your knee up, hold for a second or two. Extend your heel out, hold. Bend and into tree. Push down into your standing foot, into the other foot too, so you're creating a firm connection. Back to staff. Dancer on this side. Bend your heel in, grab for your foot. Push into your hand. Pull back against your foot. Hold just for a little while longer. And then we're going to come into staff again. Last time, knee up to your chest or up at your hips. Hold, 3, 2, 1, set it down. Take your feet out nice and wide. Reach on down for a fold. And then walk over towards the right. Come back over all the way to the left. Come back to the center. Bring your feet back in towards each other. We're going to go to a standing split from here. So push into your right foot, squeeze your left heel to your butt, and then see how high you can press your heel to the ceiling. Sometimes I find if I go to look for my foot, I can lift it just a tiny bit higher. If you really want to play with your balance some more, see if you can take a hand to your standing foot or ankle. You could also try reaching your hands back to your hips. Control your foot down into the ground, plug into it, standing split on the other side. See what kind of challenges you can bring in on this side. Maybe it's shutting your eyes. Lift a little higher and release. Let's come back down to tabletop on your hands and knees. Cow and cat a couple of times. Push down with your belly, lift your head, and then round into that cat, trying to tuck your chin in. And then let's come into a lunge. Bring your right foot forward outside of your hands. Work your back knee further from your foot. And then here you can keep your hands on the ground, a block, or even up on your leg. But I want you to curl your back toes underneath and then just try pushing up and lifting your foot off or knee off the ground. You can set it back down and then again, push in, lift, and set back down. Can you try with less weight on your hands, either just one at a time, or if you can try both without hands. One more time, whatever you've got going, hold it up, 3, 2, 1, set back down. Let's switch it out and try same thing with the other leg. Work that distance between your front foot and your back knee. Start with a couple of times, just both hands on the ground. If you feel like you're ready for it right away, try without one or both hands. One more time. Hold there. And release. You can go ahead and lay down onto your belly. We'll finish up with a Sphinx pose or a back bend here. So you're gonna have your elbows in under your shoulders, put your forearms down, palms down, lift from your heart, and squeeze your shoulder blades down your back. It might feel nice to look over your shoulders and get some stretch into your neck. Just take 2 or 3 more breaths here in this back bend. Then go ahead, lower down, turn your head to one side. You can bend at your knees and sway your feet. Lower your feet down. You can stay right here on your belly, or if you want to flip over to your back, you can do whatever you want. Jordan, I'm gonna sit up though. Get yourself into a comfortable spot. Shut down your eyes. Again, acknowledge your distractions. And then decide what is it that you want to focus on, that you want to let your mind drift off and think about or not think. Give yourself 1 minute to just be present with whatever is happening. Deepen your breath. Acknowledge how you're feeling right now. And then take your time and meet me in a seated position. Ground into your seat. Lift yourself up tall from your heart. Through your nose, take in a deep breath. Open your mouth and let it out. We'll finish with 3 together. Bring your hands up together to your heart, bow to yourself. Set your focus or your mood for the rest of the day. And thank you for joining me. Namaste.